Look at how beautiful this is. You can actually play the Pokemon game and those buttons on screen actually work. Someone actually built a basic computer language within Minecraft. Hey, what's up all of you beautiful subscribers? My name is Jack Chappell. I am the developer for the upcoming game Attika Origins, and today we are going to be breaking down and reacting to Minecraft, because that is what you guys requested. So the first thing I wanted to mention here is that Minecraft, it was developed by, Markus Persson, also known as Notch. A lot of you, he's one of the most famous programmers in the world, and he, in the story of Minecraft, is like the dream scenario that every developer thinks and wishes will happen with them in their game, where it's, you spend years and years programming this game, and eventually you release it, it does really well, and then, you sell it to Microsoft for, billions of dollars. But one of my favorite stories, actually, is that he actually outbid Jay-Z and Beyonce for a house, like a few years back after making all that money. Anyways, I'm digressing. So what you're seeing here on screen is actually one of the early versions of Minecraft. It doesn't look too different in terms of style from what it is today, but this version of Minecraft only took like 6 days to make, and this is what it looked like. It was just a few blocks. It was just a big world. Everything was not organized. There's no algorithms going on. There's no trees. It was just a giant landscape, and that only really took about a week. That's what Notch said, about a week to make that. And so, you could go through the game and you can collect stuff, but there wasn't really that good of an inventory. Blocks would show up at the top right of the screen. And it looked like a completely, and it didn't look like that great of a game. But then they added multiplayer, the same year, and they kept building on the game, and Notch kept programming every single day. And then they eventually got into this kind of beta version where they started to get the inventory at the bottom of the screen. The health started to pop up here. And those systems don't really, especially in Minecraft, shouldn't have taken that long to build. I think that my guess would that be what took the longest to build in the earlier versions. It's probably the algorithms for actually spawning the landscape and the trees and all of that. So that's probably why, I don't know if you can see this here, there isn't a ton of things in the background. There aren't a lot of details. There aren't, a lot of villages or anything like that. Look at that. Look at the difference between the release, which was in 2011, and let's go back here. Let's go back all the way to the beginning. So this is the release. It looks really good. It looks pretty much like it does today. And going back to just a couple years earlier, when they just started building this, it looks nothing alike, apart from the actual style of the blocks. Wow, they must have put in a lot of time into this. I mean, look at the difference. And that was just the initial 1.0 of Minecraft. Let's go to the very end here. Wow, and look at the difference between this even 2017 version, just a couple years ago, and the very beginning. This is crazy, actually, how much... it's one of those things which you think that Minecraft is kind of similar to how it started, and it is kind of similar to what it was when it was in 2011. But this is something to show developers, what you can do if you just keep working at something. I mean, even the difference between when Notch was doing this and look at this 2009 version, when he just started making it, this doesn't look that good. Doesn't look that good. And then, you put in a couple years, all of a sudden it starts to come together. The beta looks pretty good. And then you get all the way up till now where there's like temples and all these things being built. Look at this. There's full villages that are spawning. One of the great things about Minecraft that people don't appreciate is actually the algorithms that go into this game for actually creating the world. So Minecraft is a world it's procedurally generated. And what that means is that in normal games, like just take I like to use God of War as an example because I love that game. But God of War, everything in that game is hand placed by a developer who is, programming the game. So any rock, water placements, any structures, they're all hand placed by developers. But in a game like Minecraft, like this, it's the exact opposite. The entire world is just procedurally generated by algorithms. So what algorithms are? They're just a set of rules. So like a rule would be, the diamond blocks in the game can only spawn between levels, 1 and 20 in height of the world. And, trees can only spawn on dirt. They can't spawn on desert, or they can't spawn on water or whatever. And there's a bunch of rules like that. And eventually, if you build up, those are very simple ones, by the way. Each one of those that I just said, each one of those probably has its own subset of, 50 to 100 rules within one of those rules. So eventually, you scale that out and say, hey, dirt has to spawn, in the top few levels and can't be on the bottom 20 levels or whatever it may be. And eventually, you have a world like this. And so with this, you're able to create worlds that can scale. and you don't have to put any work into. You can have an infinite amount of worlds with an infinite amount of space within the game, and procedural generation is the way to do it. You just build a world through algorithms, and that's how Minecraft can have such giant maps and levels. However, procedural generation can only do so much, so it actually doesn't go to infinity. Now, Minecraft has the largest map in, I think, all of gaming. However, in an old Minecraft version, I remember going onto this. I'll show you the far lands. I'll show you what happens when you go as far as possible in Minecraft. So in Minecraft, there was a place called the Far Lands, which you could go to, which pretty much you're going so far out in the level of Minecraft that the game begins to break down, because the procedural generation, it pretty much uses 64 bits. It uses a very giant integer, and once you go past that integer in the game in distance, the game just starts to look pretty bad. The game, all of a sudden you have mountains, that are floating in the sky. You'll have clouds on the ground. You'll have giant rows of just dirt that go on forever into almost infinity. You'll have water floating in the sky. It just begins to really break down. You start to lose control of your character. Nothing gets generated, and so that's actually the limits of Minecraft here, and that's what procedural generation can do. It's really good at building giant levels, but the Minecraft map, it doesn't go to infinity. It's not necessarily because of the way the game is programmed, but it's largely because of the way computers are made. You just can't build anything larger than the map in here. Another thing that I like to comment on about Minecraft is that I think one of the reasons why it's so popular is because of its overall simplicity to play, to install, and even to program in a sense. I mean, there's nothing super, I guess the procedural generation of the worlds are super complicated, but apart from that, there isn't really too much else that's difficult about programming the game. Again, the procedural generation is quite difficult, but everything else is quite simple, actually. So just looking this up here, it looks like Minecraft, you only really need about 1 gigabyte of hard drive space, maybe a little bit more than that in order to install the game. So that makes it available on everything from you're able to install it on phones, PlayStation, Xbox, the Switch. Meanwhile, like I've mentioned before, giant open world games like God of War, Red Dead, you can only really play those on PlayStation or really powerful gaming computers. Those can't go on the Switch because just to install them, you need 100 gigs. All right, so it's Minecraft. The fact that it's only 1 gigabyte of hard drive space, that makes it available for almost anyone to play on any platform. And the biggest reason why it only really needs 1 gigabyte of hard drive space to install is because it's only really made of 2 things. The entire game is made of really low polygon meshes, meaning that nothing in the world has, curves in it. Everything is a block. It's square, so you don't need any high quality meshes. And it's also filled with low quality textures. So everything in the game, it's essentially just, a little bit higher detail than pixel art. And if you don't know, mesh is essentially just a structure with vertices, and it just creates the figure, like figures in the game. And then texture is just like a coat of paint that you throw onto the model, which gives it the color, the shading, and all of that stuff. So now I want to compare a typical 3D character and show you how much, computer power that actually takes up and how much space that takes up. And then let's compare it to a Minecraft. So here, a Minecraft character. So here we have, one of my characters here. His name's Alcius from the upcoming game Attika. And, here you can see a lot of things. There's quite a lot of detail. It's not, God of War quality, but it's not like terrible quality. You can actually see some of the pores on his skin, some of the freckles here. Some of the texture here could use some of the work. But this character will have, tens of thousands, I think it's somewhere around 10 to 20,000 vertices. It's going to take up about 20 megabytes of data. Just this mesh, not the texture, just this mesh is going to be about 20 megabytes of install data. And then the textures, I think they're somewhere around another 20 megabytes as well. So all the freckles and everything you see on here, that's another 20 megabytes. And the color of the skin, the shorts aren't going to be there. I'm going to have some armor and stuff too. But this entire character is going to be about 40 megabytes of data when it is installed on someone's computer. Now, a character like Steve in Minecraft or any of the zombies or creepers or anything like that, I was trying to find the exact number here, but I think that they only take up somewhere between 20 and 40 kilobytes of data. Meanwhile, an average 3D character in other games is about 40 megabytes, if not more. So Minecraft, just the characters and the textures, I mean, look at the texture here. I mean, it's literally the pixel. There's literally just pixels on Steve here. And same with the zombie here. There's really no detail that goes into it. There's really only a few vertices on the legs. Like there's 8 vertices. And the whole Steve character might only really have, 50 vertices on the whole thing. Meanwhile, an average AAA character that is round and very detailed and has, bumps on his muscle and all of that, that could be tens of thousands of vertices. So it takes up a lot more space on your computer. And so this is one of the reasons why Minecraft is just a game that can be installed on really anything. It's because everything in this world is so low detailed and low quality that you can kind of just play it on any platform. And it's not just for the characters too. I mean, this applies for everything in the Minecraft world versus a typical 3D game. So in Minecraft, I think I narrowed it down. I think one block in Minecraft only takes up 2.5 bytes of data. I think it was something like that, like 2.5 bytes, somewhere around 5 bytes, like a really tiny, tiny amount. Meanwhile, like I have a rock in my game, which is like, I think I have it here somewhere. There's a rock in my game that's like 3 megabytes. All right, there are some boulders that are up into the 10, 20, 30 megabytes, the giant boulders. And meanwhile, Minecraft can put in these little blocks here, much less detailed, but they take up 100,000 times less data than a rock in some games. So it's quite crazy how this was programmed, and it's amazing that people like it. I mean, this also goes to show you things don't really need to be super high quality or super high quality textures, super high quality characters in order for your game to be successful. I mean, you could have a super high, I mean, we just reviewed The Quiet Game, or we reacted to The Quiet Game, or The Quiet Man, just last week. And that game was pretty good graphically. It was pretty good in terms of the visuals, and it looked like a great game, but it was one of the worst games ever. And despite it having graphics that are way better than Minecraft. So that just, goes to show you Minecraft, a great success story, and it's not built on its graphic quality. So another thing that goes along with the simplicity of Minecraft is actually, it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. I don't think a lot of casual gamers really take notice of, but that is the AI in Minecraft. It is super simple, but AI is one of the hardest things to program in a video game, in my opinion. So just to kind of give you an overview of how AI is actually programmed, it's built on these things called if-else statements. So if this happens, then do this. But if this didn't happen, which is the else statement, then do this. All right, and so you can have these giant complex if-else statements. And so, for example, in a basic game, it'd be like, if I walk in front of the enemy, then have the enemy do this chasing animation and chase me. So that's just a very basic AI thing that's in pretty much every game. And that's kind of similar to what it is in Minecraft. If you walk in front of a zombie or an archer in Minecraft, that's all it really does is it goes, hey, chase, shoot the arrow, or if it's a creeper, go chase and explode. If you get close enough. That's really what they are in Minecraft. But in games like Hitman, for example, like in Hitman, you can have really crazy things happening. Like the AI has to know, okay, if the assassin is dressed up like this, I should act this way. If he's blending in, I should act this way. If something looks out of place, the AI has to react this way. If the AI hears something like it does in this clip here, it has to react in a scared way. But there's also some AI in this game where it's just like, okay, if the AI were to see you, assassinating someone, they'll come after you and try to shoot you. So you have to have, there's very complex AI systems in certain games. In Hitman, it's not perfect, but I think, in my opinion, it is pretty good. But again, in the game like Minecraft, coding AI is quite simple. It's just attack, don't attack for the most part. Even, Enderman and Ender Dragon, it's all the same thing for the most part here. Enderman is just, hey, instead of walking in front of the Enderman, it's like you have to look at him and then he'll become violent. So, just AI is very complex and difficult to program, in my opinion. Some people might find it easy. Some programmers may find it easy. For me, programming AI is quite difficult. So one thing that I love telling people about Minecraft is that Minecraft is kind of its own computer language in a sense. So initially the game was programmed in Java, and then it was switched over to C++, which is much more common. That's what I used to program my games. But then with a couple of mods and the introduction of redstone, which essentially acts as like electricity, people were able to recreate computing languages within Minecraft. So right here, look at this. Someone actually built a basic computer language within Minecraft. This is a computer right here. This is a computer. It's demonstrated here. Let's see if we can find the space. Like, look at this. Some dude is actually scripting BASIC within Minecraft. Now, I don't know BASIC because BASIC is a very old computer language, but he actually built it in Minecraft. And that's not all this. It gets a little bit crazier, guys. Actually, I guess I should say is that they're able to do this because people don't really realize how computers work. And pretty much what happens is that when electricity runs through a transistor, it flips to a 1, which is, powered up, it's boosted, or a 0, which is it's not amplified, okay? So amplified is a better word for it. So that's what the 1s and 0s are. When people actually hear about, the 1s and 0s of like the matrix and computing, it's actually just the flow of electricity. And so you can actually replicate that with redstone and some modding blocks in Minecraft, and you're able to actually just create your own transistors and then therefore your own computing languages. So after you have some 1s and 0s, you can go like, okay, so what does 1 and 0 mean? 1 and 0 might mean, the letter A or something like that. Or, 1010 might mean, this word or number. And so eventually you have enough of these combinations of 1s and 0s, you're able to create a computing language, which is what is done in this game, which is quite amazing. Like, look at this. Someone was able to actually build a web browser, like pretty much a smartphone web browser within their game. That's actually an actual URL that Captain Sparkles typed into the game, and they were able to load a page from a website. That's actually insane. Actually, and look, there's some crappy, pixelated YouTube thumbnails there. Oh Jesus, look! He is live video streaming from Minecraft. This is all just through, some programming that is done within Minecraft, not from the Minecraft programmers, but from players that built their own programming language within Minecraft to display this. This is just astounding. This is really, really cool. This is live streamed, by the way. This is a live video feed that he's filming himself that's being displayed in Minecraft. That's crazy. But do you want to see something super crazy? That live streaming was really cool. The basic computing language is really cool. Someone built a whole replica, an emulator of Pokemon, I think it was red or blue, and put it in Minecraft. And we're not talking about a video that just pops up and it's like, hey, this is Pokemon Red. We are talking someone built the code for Pokemon and put it in Minecraft through hundreds of thousands of blocks in a specific order with a specific amount of code on each, attached to each one. And look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. Look, you can actually play the Pokemon game and those buttons on screen actually work. So Minecraft this is for a dork and a dev like me, this is really cool that someone was able to actually recreate Pokemon within a game. They built a game within a game. So they Notch built a game. Think about this. Notch built a game through programming. So the game was built, and then he built a game where you're able to program games within that game. It's Gameception, everybody. It's Gameception. That's what's going on here. So the game fully works. You can pick your own Pokemon. Look at this. You can actually go. Everything works. And it looks all pixelated. Everything's cool. Look at that. And now people want to say, how does this work? How can this happen? Well, here's what it takes to replicate Pokemon in this game. All right. So we're going to venture through this hole. All of those blocks, all of that is code and switches. Not Nintendo switches, literally switches that say, hey, activate this piece of code. All of that. So all of that you see there is, has to store, the stats, has to store the character data, the graphics, the pixels, has to store what Pokemon you have, what ID the Pokemons have, all the bad guys, all the good guys, all the grass, everything in that game is right there. That's what it looks like to build a game in Minecraft. All of that, all those floating cubes, that's it. So I think that is going to wrap this video up. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Keep an eye out for Attika Origins. I'm building the demo officially now, so I have all the systems working, which is really great. I'm just building the game now. So the demo, and so just keep an eye out for some of those devlogs, and I'll do a Kickstarter eventually for it. I think it's going to be a really cool game, so hopefully you guys will like that. And remember to hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this, and that like button. And for now, thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.